Did you know that over 100 million Pringles are made every single day? That's enough to wrap around the earth more than once. But how do ordinary potatoes turn into these perfectly stacked, saddle-shaped crisps? Step inside the factory and discover the surprising journey of a Pringle. Chapter 1. A different kind of chip. Believe it or not, Pringles aren't your typical potato chips. They're only about 42% real potato. The rest is a clever mix of starches and flour, designed to create a crisp, uniform texture that almost seems engineered by science. Unlike ordinary chips, which are sliced from whole potatoes and fried into unpredictable shapes, every Pringle is identical. Each one snaps the same, stacks perfectly in the can, and delivers that familiar crunch bite after bite. Its precision and consistency are hidden inside a snack we've all grown up loving. But how does a humble potato, grown in wide-open fields, become a flawless Pringle? To find out, we follow the journey of one tiny potato flake. Its story starts long before the factory, under the sun-soaked soil where millions of potatoes wait to be harvested, and that's where our transformation begins. Chapter 2. From Potato to Mash. Picture golden fields stretching endlessly toward the horizon. Beneath the soil, potatoes quietly swell with starch, waiting for the harvest. When the time is right, enormous machines sweep across the fields, digging up mountains of potatoes in minutes. For farmers, this is a spectacle of abundance. For our potatoes, it's the beginning of a new life. The crop is quickly transported to the factory, where the real transformation begins. First comes the washing, a vigorous scrubbing that strips away dirt and soil. High-pressure water jets and spinning brushes polish the potatoes clean until they shine. Next, peeling machines remove their skin in seconds, exposing the pale, starchy flesh underneath. Our potato is diced into small cubes and steam-cooked at high temperatures. Inside the steaming chambers, the once firm chunks collapse into a soft, fluffy mash. The structure of the potato is broken down. Its familiar form vanishes. What remains is a blank canvas, a creamy puree that no longer resembles the original vegetable. Gone is the solid spud. In its place, there is something entirely new, a base ingredient ready to be shaped into a crisp unlike any other. Chapter 3. The Birth of a Flake. The mash now moves deeper into the factory, where the process becomes even more extraordinary. Massive heated drums slowly rotate as thin layers of potato mash spread across their surfaces. The heat drives out moisture, leaving behind paper-thin sheets. As steam rises into the air, the potato's identity shifts once again. The sheets peel off the drums, brittle and fragile. Workers describe them as looking like parchment paper, but instead of writing stories, they'll soon be eaten as snacks. These sheets are then broken down into small, delicate fragments. The flakes tumble into collection bins, light enough to float on air currents. They look almost insignificant, but within them lies potential. For our little flake, this moment is the first step toward destiny. The flakes don't go straight into production. Instead, they're stored in towering steel silos that can hold tons of products at once. Here they wait, suspended between the past and the future, neither potato nor crisp, but something in between. Millions of flakes rest silently until the factory decides it's time to summon them into a new form. For our flake, that time has come. Chapter 4. Mixing the dough. The call arrives in the form of gravity. Our flake tumbles down from the silo into a cavernous mixer, but it doesn't land alone. Around it, pour cornstarch, rice flour, wheat starch, and a careful dose of seasonings. To the naked eye, this mixture doesn't look like chips at all. In fact, it looks closer to damp sand than anything you'd want to eat. And yet, this strange texture is exactly the point. Unlike bread dough, which is elastic and stretchy, Pringles dough is crumbly and fragile. That fragility is its strength. It allows the crisps to be pressed into shape while still holding together once fried. Inside the mixer, giant blades churn methodically, folding everything together. Our flake, once alone, now merges into a collective mass of dough. Each particle blends with another until there is no individuality, just one smooth, uniform mixture. This is the moment when chemistry meets engineering. The dough may look unremarkable, but it contains all the raw potential of the final snack. The starch for structure, the flour for consistency, and the subtle seasonings that will bloom after frying. It's not yet crisp, but the transformation is inevitable. Chapter 5. Shaping the crisp. The dough doesn't stay as a lumpy mass for long. Conveyor belts carry it forward, rolling it out into an ultra-thin sheet, barely a millimeter thick. Giant rollers flatten the dough with precision, ensuring uniform thickness across the entire sheet. For Pringles, even a fraction of a millimeter matters because consistency is everything. From this endless ribbon of dough, oval shapes are stamped out like cookies. In the factory, they have a nickname, Doyles. Flat, fragile, and identical, these little cutouts are the ancestors of every Pringle you've ever eaten. But Pringles are never meant to stay flat. As the Doyles move along the conveyor, they approach one of the most fascinating machines in the factory, the molder. Here, the dough pieces are carried between two curved metal belts. In a matter of seconds, each one is pressed into the famous hyperbolic paraboloid shape. It looks like a saddle or a tiny wave, but this shape isn't just for aesthetics, it's an engineering marvel. The curve distributes stress evenly across the crisp, making it strong enough to stack without breaking. It's also ergonomically designed to fit comfortably on the tongue. The geometry of a Pringle is as much science as it is snack food. For our little Doyle, this is the defining moment. It is no longer just dough. It has taken on its permanent form, curved and precise, ready to be fried into the crisp that millions recognize instantly. This is where the dream of every flake becomes real. Chapter 6, a quick frying dance. Now comes the stage where the dough truly becomes crisp. After shaping, our delicate Doyle glides forward on conveyor belts until it reaches a curtain of heat. Below waits a river of bubbling oil, kept at the razor-precise temperature of 392 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. Without hesitation, the crisps drop in. For exactly 11 seconds, they are bathed in scalding oil. In that blink of time, everything changes. The heat drives out nearly all the water inside, leaving behind an airy, brittle structure. The transformation is almost instantaneous. What enters soft and pale emerges hard, golden, and fragile, ready to crackle between your teeth. But the oil bath isn't the end. As our chip exits the fryer, it passes under a blast of hot air. Powerful blowers sweep away any excess oil clinging to the surface, ensuring the crisp stays light rather than greasy. The factory fills with a warm, nutty aroma that signals perfection. For our chip, this is the moment it gains its famous snap, the sound and sensation that billions around the world associate with opening a can of Pringles. Chapter 7, the flavor rainfall. Golden and crisp, our chip now faces the most important transformation of all, discovering its flavor. Without seasoning, a Pringle is just a blank canvas. But with the right dusting of spices, it becomes unforgettable. Conveyors carry the freshly fried crisps into giant rotating drums. Inside, nozzles and sprayers release fine showers of seasoning powder that fall like rain. As the drum turns, each chip tumbles gently, picking up its share of the mix. Sour cream and onion, barbecue, cheddar, salt and vinegar, or one of the 160+ flavors worldwide, this is where each Pringle earns its identity. Here, only one side of each Pringle is seasoned, but because they're stacked so tightly in the can, every bite feels balanced. It's an elegant trick of geometry and flavor design. Our chip rolls through the tumbling drum and catches its first flakes of seasoning. In an instant, it changes from plain to personal. No longer just starch and oil, it's now bursting with the tang of sour cream or the smoky depth of barbecue, or perhaps a fiery kick from jalapeno. This is the moment when taste buds all over the world will meet their match. Chapter 8, stacking and sealing. With its flavor locked in, our chip moves toward what makes Pringles unique, the stack. Unlike traditional potato chips, which clatter randomly into noisy bags, Pringles travel with order and precision. Gravity does most of the work. As crisps roll along conveyors, their curved shape causes them to slide naturally into neat piles, each one perfectly cradling the next. This is where the saddle-shaped hyperbolic paraboloid proves its worth. It allows dozens, even hundreds, of crisps to nest together like puzzle pieces. But not every chip cuts. High-speed cameras and scanners watch closely for flaws. Any crisp that's burnt, cracked, or misshapen is flicked aside by a puff of air or plucked by workers monitoring the line. Only the perfect ones continue. Our chip, flawless and golden, glides forward. A gentle nudge pushes it into the mouth of a waiting cylinder, the iconic Pringles can. It slides into the stack, one of many identical crisps forming a uniform column. Then comes sealing. A thin foil membrane is heat-pressed onto the can, locking in freshness and trapping the aroma inside. Over the foil goes the famous plastic pop-top lid. Simple, functional, and unforgettable. Chapter 9. A global icon. Before cans leave the factory floor, each batch faces one last test, the lab. Technicians measure oil content, check texture, and even listen to the crispness of the snap under carefully controlled lights. If one detail is off, entire batches are rejected. Consistency is everything. Our chip passes with flying colors. Now packed and boxed, it's ready to join millions of others traveling across highways and oceans. Whether bound for New York, Nairobi, or New Delhi, it carries the same promise. Identical taste, identical crunch. It's astonishing to think about. What began as a potato in a quiet field has now become part of a $3 billion global snack empire. From stadiums to movie nights, from children's parties to late-night cravings, Pringles are there, stacked in their famous tubes, waiting for that unmistakable pop. For our chip, the journey has come full circle. It's no longer just starch, seasoning, and oil. It's part of a cultural icon, a snack that reimagined what chips could be. And when someone tilts the can, lets the stack slide into their hand, and takes that first crunchy bite, they unknowingly complete a journey that began long before in fields of golden potatoes. What's your favorite flavor? Sour cream and onion, BBQ, or something daring like jalapeno? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.